hello, my friends. I'm Charles Smith, your host, and welcome to the amazing Happy Village. We are so excited for you today because we feel like your children are amazing. They deserve to be happy, and it requires a village to make it all come together. So, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to sow into you so that you can sow into your children so that they will be able to soar in the world. We believe the farmers got it right when they said the land doesn't care what you plant, but it will return what you plant. Our children's minds are like the soil. They don't care what you sow into them, but they will return what you sow into them. So get your pencils and papers together because we are going to sow into you so that you, my friend, will be able to soar into the gift that God has blessed you with. Okay. First thing I want you to do is to be able to have your pencils and papers ready. I'm going to do three things for you before I bring in my fabulous, talented guest today. I want you to write the word path on a piece of paper, Path. Okay. And then underneath that, I want you to write 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to give you four sentences that you're going to have, or four statements. And then under those four statements, I want you to write the word 20 minutes. Write 20 minutes. And then under that, I want you to put LATH and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to cover the first four right now, and then I'll cover the others during the interview. And if I don't get through it, but I'll assure you I will not leave you hanging. I'll make sure you get it. Okay. So do this for me. Under number 1, you got your paper? Come on. Write prayer at the house. Now, each sentence, if you take the first word and notice the first letter of each word, you'll have path at the end. I want to put you on the prayer path. Okay. And my book, 7 Steps to Raising Amazing Children, talk about this, but I want to make sure you get this right now. Now, prayer at the house. If there are people at the house, get this. There needs to be prayer at the house, because with people at the house, there are demons in the house. And yes, I mean demons, because they come through you. So we need a prayer path. Make sense? Get that. If there are people at the house, there are going to be curses at the house. So we need to make sure we're on the right path. Number 2, principles at the house. Come on, somebody. Principles at the house. If you're not standing for something, man, you'll fall for anything. So make sure that you have something that you stand for. In our household, this is what we're going to do. When my girls was growing up, I used to have this thing I used to say that there are 2 types of people in this world. There are leaders and followers. And in the Smith household, we are leaders. They got sick of hearing it, but it was something that we stood by. I would start the sentence off and they would say, we know, Dad, we know they're leaders and followers. But guess what? These girls are absolutely leaders today. And they're actually teaching my grandchildren. So we're not just raising our children, but we're raising a generation. So they are teaching my grandchildren to be leaders. Just the other day, Braxton came home, 4 years old, and he said, Mama, the teacher, because he was crying. She wanted to know what See, I told you we needed prayer because the enemy is in the house. He's trying to take this word from me, but that's a tale. We're getting this word. So listen, this the third sentence that I want you to write. We talked about prayer. We talked about principles. But let me just tell you this: participation. You have to have participation at the house, because if you're not participating in games and doing the things with your children, you won't get to know them. How you gonna raise a child if you don't know a child? So you got to get to know them. Amen. And the third one that I want to share with you today is not the third one, but the fourth one. The last one is planning. We have to plan at the house. Listen, the reason there's a lot of chaos a lot of time is because there's not any planning that's taking place. We always got to be saying to our children, here's what we're going to do, and this is the way we're going to do it. So let's do this so we can accomplish this. Can you imagine your child if they are growing up and coming out with plans when other folks trying to get them to do something and they've already established a great planning relationship? That is awesome. Well, I'm going to cover the others for you a little later on, but right now I want to bring in the talented, the terrific, the amazing children author, Miss MeKael Black. Miss MeKael Black, welcome to the Amazing Happy Village.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're so glad to have you. The devil tried to knock me offline and I hit him and we're right back on somebody. So again, I've been able to meet, I know you're married, you have a family. So let me just say in the beginning, happy anniversary, because you had an anniversary, I heard the other day. Yeah, I've been able to meet Darian. So tell me a little bit about you and your family so we can bless these folks that are watching us right now.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having this platform, the Amazing Happy Village. You know, this reminds me of when I was growing up. We didn't have much financially or even materially, but what we did have was priceless, and that was a village. Whether it was the lady down the street or over the hill, the candy lady, or the hucklebuck lady, we had a village to surround us. So that was priceless. Now times have changed and our village looks a little different, but I thank you for having this platform and creating this amazing happy village. But my name is MeKael Black. I have two children, a boy, he's 10. His name is Asa, and a little girl, she's 6, and her name is Aisha. And I've been married for 17 years. We celebrated 17 years this past Saturday to Dorian Black. And we're just, this going into this new venture with the books and being an author. It's been amazing, and we just enjoying this new experience.
That is so awesome. Well, listen, I have been privileged to be able to have both books, okay? And I am so excited about what you are doing because you're focused. And I know you have a heart for children as
Yes.
a heart for God. So I want to talk about this first book that you have. Tell me a little bit about that and how did all of this come about?
Yes. Well, this first book is called Will A-Tal Play Today, Play Day at Recess. And it's about a little boy. He loves to play. And if he could, he would play all day. Now, this book is really based off of my son's life. It's really, how he is and how he acts. But in the first book, he takes you on a journey through his play day at school. And you'll meet his family, his school friends, his teacher, and the reader has an opportunity to guess what he's going to play at recess that day with his friends. So he gets the reader involved by getting them to guessing what he's going to play. The book is also an accelerated reader book. That means a child can go in the school system, they can take a test on the book, and they will earn points towards their AR goal. Now, I did not write this book like a traditional writer. I didn't say, oh, you know what, today I'm going to write a children's book. It didn't happen like that. It wasn't even on my radar, Pastor Smith. Mm-hmm. One morning, I was asleep. My daughter woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So my husband went to go check on her, and she went back to sleep. He went back to sleep, but I couldn't go back to sleep. So I was like, okay, Lord, I'm ready to go back to sleep. It's the weekend. I want to sleep in a little bit. And I prayed, I read scripture, I talked to God. And so finally, I just lay in the bed. And before I knew, I heard these words. As soon as the sun says good morning, I was like, what? So I grabbed my phone and I just started typing out what the words that I heard coming to me. And before I knew it, the sun was coming up. My children woke up. My husband woke up. And I told them what happened. And it was like, wow. So when I
Mm.
read them the story, they was like, Mom, you got to write this book. You got to make this into a book. And that's how it happened.
You know what? That is so awesome because I had some of those same challenges because my book didn't start tradition. I didn't want to write a parenting book because I work with children all the time. So
Right,
I want to appreciate you for this particular book, particularly because I know it's for everybody,
right.
but MeKael, it's about a little boy
Yes,
and he's playing, he's having fun, and he's reading and he's rapping. To me, you have captured some hearts with this book because I believe that our boys really need to focus more on reading. I think reading will help our children in
yes,
the long run with crime and everything else if we'll pay attention to what we are doing with them. Give
that's
me
true.
your thoughts on that.
Yes, I totally agree. You know, when children are young, they're very impressionable. So you can instill a lot of great values in them. So
Mhm.
when you read, they're looking at you to, okay, my mom is reading, my parents reading, so I'm gonna read. Now, the Department of Justice have stated that they've done research and they've shown that crime is very closely related to illiteracy. So it's important to get our children reading as early as possible. This past Friday, I went to a school to read, and the boys received the Will A-Tal Play Today book, and the girls received the Fearless Princess. And those boys were so excited. And I got a testimony from the teacher saying that this little boy was in kindergarten and he was determined to read this book by himself. And so that just it just made me feel so happy. It was like my heart's desire manifested. She said he wouldn't put the book down for the rest of the day. And that's what I wanted. That's what I want. I want children to be excited about reading, engaged in reading, because it will affect them later on in life, either in a positive way or a negative way. If they're not reading, if they're having problems reading or illiterate, then it's gonna show. It's gonna show in their education, and they may even statistics show that if they're having troubles by third grade, then they're likely to not even graduate. So yeah, it's very important.
So you're really preaching now because you're tugging at my heart. I'm telling you, talking about these precious gifts that we have, and you're telling us, you're saying we can do something early and put them on the right track by getting them to read early, right? And I'm a firm believer because it helped me.
Right. You
If
know,
I'm reading is better in a lot of other subjects.
exactly. You know, I didn't know much about childhood literacy until I wrote the book. And so I decided to start researching it. And so when I found the statistics on childhood literacy, it was very alarming to me. So I was like, I got to do something for these children. I got to give back. And so that's what I did. Lord put a desire in me to help out. And so I created a book giveaway program and a book sponsorship program where we'll go into the communities and we'll give back all different types of books to children in the community. And then with the sponsorship program, people can come together and sponsor the village, come together and sponsor
Yeah.
books so we can take these books into the communities where kids who cannot have who don't have access to books for whatever reason, they're going to get access to this book because of those sponsors. So they're
That
going into the school system.
That is so awesome. And there are some good people out there who are willing to help when they see a need. They'll
Right.
step up to the plate. Okay. We just need to prioritize and be intentional about our children getting what they need rather than, and I'm not talking about anybody, but rather than trying to get what we need, we got to remember that we're raising a generation here. And the more we can do early, listen, it will develop that habit that will carry on for the rest of their life.
Exactly. Children mimic what you do. If they see you reading, they're going to want to read. If they see you writing, they're going to want to write. If they see you watching TV, they're going to watch TV. So you are their example. You, the guardian, the parent, you're their example. So take the time out. You know what? We're going to take 20 minutes out every day and we're going to read together. We're going to read independently. Those are some things that you can do. My child, my little girl, she loves for us to read together in unison. So she likes to read a book together. She reading, I'm reading the same text together. That's fun for her. It's not only just her reading, but it's fun for her, and we're also spending time together. So get involved with your children's reading, and they'll love it. Yeah.
You know, you and I didn't talk about this, but I told Facebook friends to write 20 minutes under those first letters. Okay, that's what that 20 minutes stand for. I need you reading 20 minutes per day. Okay, I did the math, and it's 7,300 minutes a year. That
Wow.
comes out to be a little over 2 hours a week if we read 20 minutes a day. This is how you can get on the right path and stay on the right path by reading, expanding the mind. And listen, we need to read too, right? Listen,
That's
I wrote this song, and here's what he said: listen to my life and how I plan to win. I'm gonna make books my very best friend. What I need is to read. Come on, it's what's inside of me that's driving me. That's driving me. Give me 20 minutes. Parent,
right.
you want to stay on the right path? Give me 20 minutes. You're reading. Now I'm talking minimum here. Okay,
Mhm.
some of us want to go longer than 20 minutes, but you hit on this something here. And I didn't even tell her about my 20 minutes unless she was looking at my notes from wherever she is right now. But the point is, she's on this something, people. We need to be reading, and they need to see us reading because, and I write this in my book, they are videoing you and then they're going to play it out and live it out when they get grown. Listen, stop. I'm not saying don't enjoy your children now, but all this goo 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 baby so cute, that's going to change. Okay, hear me. Enjoy it. I did, but you better have a plan. Okay, you better have prayer in the house. You better have principles in the house. You better have participation in the house, and you better be planning in the house. Now, you said y'all are giving away book with a book drive because you have sponsors. How many books do you think that we should have in our home for our children that's age appropriate?
That's very good question. Children, research shows that children should have a home library of at least 80 books or more. At least 80 books or more. Having at least 80 books or more in your children's home library will show, has proven to show, okay, improve academic success, improve test scores. You have you have some countries where they have kids, they have a home library of 500 books or more. That propels that child 3.2 school years. So the more books you can get in your home, the better. It would affect them not only in their education, but across different subject matters such as math and science, and in job attainment as they get older. So it's not just affecting them now, but it's following them all throughout their life. It's in college, in high school, graduation rates are higher. So the more books you have in your home, the better. Now, you want to have books that are age appropriate, books that are fun, diverse books. You want to have different types of books in your home. So you want to get your children home library built up. And I know you may be thinking, okay, where am I get 80 books from? There are different places where you can go. Now, like for me, I have this book giveaway. So there may be other organizations who give away books. So you may want to contact different nonprofit organizations in your area. Then you have local libraries. Certain times of the year, they give away free books. My mom contacted me that their local library in their city gave away free books. So you may want to check your local library. Thrift stores. Thrift stores have books for little of nothing. And I even shop at thrift stores for books. So there are different places where you can get books for little to no cost to help build up your child's home library. And guess what, Pastor Smith? When you have a home library for your child, you have easy access to books at all times. All times. You know, with the pandemic, when that happened, guess what? School was closed, local libraries were closed. There was no access to books for children who don't have a home library at home. So with a child having their home library at home, they have access to books. No matter if the school is closed or not, they have those books at home. And so that's why having this village of sponsors is so important. So we can get these books into these children's home who may not have these books for whatever reason.
Well, we're going to get you to share a little later on about how we can become a sponsor. But here, you hit on something that I want to bring this out because it is just me. Now, my family, and I never, ever agree with them when they say this, but they like to say that I'm an extremist, right? You tell me that 80 books, and then in these other countries they have 500. Oh, I'm getting me 1,000 books for my child. Listen, my child is not going to be lagging behind on nothing. I'm telling you, this good stuff, and it's age appropriate and it's fun. Oh my goodness, and they can advance, like you said, 2.3 years. That is 3 points. That's incredible. Oh, I'm going up to 2,000, but I don't really care. The idea of it is I understand what I have at the house, and they can leave the house one day. I want them to be the best prepared child in America.
That's right.
Blame me for wanting my child to be better. Okay. I love that. Now, I want to get to this second book because as a pastor, my wife and I have been doing this for over 30 years. We witness a lot of children who have fear. And I mean, this is all across America, I am sure.
Right.
Children having to deal with things, and they deal with it differently than we deal with it. And sometimes they don't even come to us and tell us that they're having some issues. Tell me a little bit about the book called The Fearless Princess.
Yes, The Fearless Princess. The Fearless Princess, it came to me the following week after I received the words to Will A-Tal Play Today. In a similar way, I woke up in the middle of the night with these words. And as I was writing the words as they were coming to me, a tear just fell down my eye because it's so encouraging and motivating and sentimental. The book is based off of my little girl, and her middle name is Sarai, and it means my princess. And so when she was born, a woman of faith prayed over her, and she said she's going to be a fighter for the kingdom because she fought to get here. And she did. She fought to get here, and she's been fighting fear and slashing fear ever since her 5 years of life, 6 years of life. But it's based off of a little girl. She's faced with different fears, but she overcomes those fears with her family and her faith in God. And she just she's strong, she's bold, she's fearless, and she shows other little girls and boys and even grown-ups how to overcome their fears. I've had grown-ups read the book and say, look, this helped me. If she can read in front of a class, then I can read in front of a class. Or if, she can overcome her fears, then I can too. So I've had grown-ups to come to me with those testimonies of how it helped them. And even they got teary-eyed from reading it. So
well,
that's the Princess.
Fear is just something that faces us time and time. So it's not about the fear, but it's how you handle it. Because you're going to have those feelings. But I was told a long time ago that Fear stands for false evidence appearing to be real, and you can let it hold you back, and you will never reach your reality. So what I like about the book is when we're teaching young folk,
Mm-hmm.
slap fear around like it's nothing. When they grow up, how awesome is that?
Yes, and I was thinking to myself too, Pastor Smith, that if I would have gotten this concept as a child, how
Uh,
much further in life would I be right now? That I don't have to be afraid of this. I don't have I'm bold, I'm strong in Christ. You just knowing who you are in Christ and how much further in life I will be. So I think this would be a great book for families to sit down and talk about each one of these fears that she faced. Talk about it, open up discussions, because like you said something earlier, some children don't even tell you. And that is so true. Sometimes I don't even find out about something that my child is going through until I'm picking their brain, asking them
yeah.
all different types of questions. So what if I would have never asked those questions?
Hmm.
They would have never told me those things. So it's a great book to sit down with your children and discuss each one of these fears that she faced on the book. And it's not just for girls, even though it has a little princess on the, it's not for girls, it's for boys, it's for girls, it's for grown-ups, it's for everyone. Great book for children's ministry, for Christian schools, for regular school. It's really regular school. Everyone would benefit from this book.
If you've had to deal with fear, then you'll be able to benefit from this book.
Right,
Great job. I like the idea of having, and again, I know the book is for everybody, but I love the idea of the boy, A-Tal, because I was rapping the rap song and I was rapping this song. And so now with the princess, like a little cute dress on, but yet fearless, right?
yes,
And
yes,
that is a message. And we can use it as a tool, right? To
right,
start a conversation so that we can benefit our babies for the rest of their lives. Based on the statistics that you shared, if we get them reading 20 minutes a day, and again, it'll go longer than that, but 20
right.
minutes a day, how awesome will that be? Wow.
Amazing. If like you said, when you start them early and you get them to learning and reading early, then you know what? You're producing an avid reader. You're creating a child who's gonna love reading and just enjoy and pick it up and just do it naturally. Another testimony, the teacher told me, one of the teachers told me, she said, I had a child come in and they did not like reading when they first started, but now they love reading. And so I said, what did you do? And she said that she got a book like mine, Will A-Tal Play Today, and she would just have them read it and write it. Now they love reading. So start off with something that's age appropriate and get them excited about reading, and they'll fall in love with it. I know you're thinking, oh, my child don't like reading, I'm gonna try everything. You know what? Keep trying different types of books. Try books in something they may like. Sports, right? Try books about those sports that they like. Try different types of books, and they will grab onto it. They'll hold onto it. And another thing, Pastor Smith, that I like to do, I like to give books as gifts. So I make the book special. So if they receiving a book as a gift, then they think, oh, this is special. This is neat that I get this book. And my children, they get all excited, especially like if I get my son a Steph Curry book or something, he's excited about that. Or my daughter, she likes all different types of books. So any kind of book would excite her. So getting books as a gift will make it seem special and get them excited about it. And you can also put books in the car too. When you're traveling, put the book in the car. Take a book along with you and have them reading as you're traveling.
Well, that's a good point because, uh, listen, we have to know our children. I said that earlier. If you don't know your child, so you can know what they like. If you like basketball, if you like, get a basketball book for him. Okay. If he likes outer space, get him on outer space. But I don't really. but we need to have books. Now, this would be actually under number 3 under the LATH because it's you gotta learn at the house, and I want to put a slash and say library at the house. So if
Right.
you have to be learning at the house. If you are expecting the school to do all that needs to be done with your child's education, I have an alert for you. It's not going to happen. Everything starts at the house and it expands to the school. So we got to take advantage of opportunities that we have. And when we know better, we ought to do better. So putting books in the car, I love that idea. Giving books as a gift, I love that idea. I've just made a note. All my children are over, they're all grown with the children. They all getting books.
That's right.
Gift card, books. You can't get enough of reading and learning, right? So I love that. So
Right.
and another thing that you mentioned that I really love is when you were talking about how you apparently have taken some time with your children so that you know your children. Is that right? You
That's
know
right.
what they like, what they don't like.
That's right. That's right. My child, like my daughter, she loves any type of book. So if I can give her a book on space, on anything, she'll read it. She'll read it. And she loves reading together. Now my son, he like reading on his own. So yeah, you gotta take that time. You gotta know what your child like. And look, you may be surprised to find out that they like something that you would have never even guessed they like. So you just have to try different books, explore different books, and get it out there because not only will it affect them across subject areas, but you're going to be building their vocabulary, their spelling. You're going to find that they're getting better in spelling and writing. All this helps them. Even like getting them fun books like Mad Libs. Like I didn't know my children like Mad Libs, but we were going on a trip. We had a road trip scheduled, and I went on Amazon looking for different fun books. And I found a book called Mad Libs. And it's reading and writing. I got the book. They wanted to read and write the whole trip doing the book. So we was actually like, can we take a break? But they fell in love with it. So you just never know till you try different things. Even crossword puzzles, that's getting them reading because they're having to read the words and find the words. So you just have to be experiment with different types of books.
When you're trying to get your child to eat vegetables and they look at, oh, they don't want that. Do you stop? Right?
Nope.
When your child is starting to walk and they fall down, do you tell them, no, don't try and walk no more, son. You fall down, you hurt yourself. No. We continue to try because we know that the more we practice, the better we're going to be. And so we got to keep just staying in there with the children's, right? And that's the number one thing on that LATH, how you can transfer this to the children so that they will be able to carry it on. You have to show the love. You have to do things in a lovely way at the house. Okay,
That's
when children see, I mean, why don't you just cuddle up with the baby girl and read a book to her? I mean, she just may like being around you, but you're reading. She's going to do some of the same things.
That's right. That's right. Bedtime stories. My son is 10 and he still like bedtime stories. My daughter, they love bedtime stories. So you can get creative with it. Get creative. Make up a bedtime story. Read a bedtime story together. There's so many different ways that you can get involved with your child's reading and learning process and make it fun.
One of the things that I talk about in the book, Seven Steps to Raising Amazing Children, is how you teach them to read the Bible by reading the Bible story to them, right? Because when you're coming from the word, they hear the word and they see you reading the word. What's the chances that they want to know a little bit more about their story and start reading it themselves? So, that takes me to the number one step in that, which is called leadership at the house. I have to show leadership at home, just like I try and show leadership at the job. My child, I have to have a plan for him or her to say, I'm going to try and encourage him to read, and here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and influence him. Okay, because listen, let me tell you this. If you're not influencing your child, somebody else is. So
That's
you and my producer said, don't go into the camera like this, but this is important. So I don't care. Listen, you need to start influencing your child, okay? Because there are people who are out there waiting on folk who don't have the ability to think and act on their own because you have failed them there. And so I love the idea of just not stopping because it's on me. They don't know how important reading is. What am I supposed to go to them and say, hey, you know how important reading is? No, I just got to show them how important it is.
that's
So,
right. They're looking to you for you. They're looking to you for the example. And like you said, if you don't give it to them, the world will.
oh, they're out there waiting. Open
Mhm.
up the door and see, right? Now, I wanna, talking about the world before we get out of here. A lot of stuff is happening, particularly with our boys. Mainly our black boys. We have so much going on with crime. And I believe that this doesn't start when they're 18, 25 years old. I think there's a gap. There's something that we're not doing. And I think if we can expose them to fun education and not rely just on the school system or the church, but us be involved ourselves, I think our children will have a better chance in turning away and not falling into a lot of stuff that's taking place.
I agree, Pastor Smith. And what that goes back, it's a lot, right? This is a lot. This we could talk about this all day, right? It's so much to cover, but I'm gonna try to reduce it. What I got to say, I'm gonna try to minimize. But one thing I found is that children, um, black children, they don't have the character representation in literature like you would think. A new study just came out in 2020 by the Cooperative Children's Book Center. Only 12.6% of books represented black characters. So we they're not seeing children when they're reading, they're not seeing themselves in books. Kids deserve to see themselves in books. It's important for kids of other backgrounds and cultures to see different backgrounds and cultures in books. It shouldn't be a taboo subject to talk about. We can all learn from each other, all learn different cultures. But when a child can see themselves in a book, can identify with the character, then they comprehend the subject matter better. They're able to relate to it. I'm finding that a lot of these kids, they're relating to A-Tal in the book. They see him, they see him liking to play, they see him having his family, they see him rapping, they're relating to it, so they're remembering the story. So that's gonna help them when they take the AR test, that's gonna help them what pass the test because they can relate to his character. They can relate to the story because the story is relatable. So when a child can relate to the story, they're going to comprehend it better. They're going to want to read it over and over. And when you read it over and over, you got repetition going on. And that repetition is going to help you as well with your vocabulary, with retention, with spelling, with comprehension. All of this working together. Now, when you got a child who, guess what? They're not reading. They can't find anything that they're relating to. They're not interested in reading and they're becoming illiterate. They're having problems with reading. Then the Department of Justice saying, look, 3 out of 4 juveniles are illiterate or have problems reading. 3 out of 4 adults in prison, guess what, are illiterate. So All this goes back to reading. But if we can get them young, get them early, excited about reading, and then becoming an avid reader, then who got time to be thinking about crime or dropping out of school or going stealing? Or you don't have time because you're trying to read and you're trying to graduate. So my goal is to help as many children as I can fall in love with reading as early as I can.
Well, the reason that we wanted to have this platform, the Amazing Happy Village, is simply because there are a lot of our parents that simply don't know what we were talking about today. They don't understand how many books need to be in a home and things like that. Okay. What we need to do is have more of these honest conversations rather than, and I got no problem with marching or doing any of the other things that we're trying to do to reduce crime. But we need to start early, be consistent, and don't stop until we win, because it's our responsibility, because it's our child, and nobody is going to love your child like you love your child. Let me calm down a little bit because I'm.
Let's, I love your passion. I love your because guess what? If this teacher that told me this testimony about this little girl who didn't like reading, she would have said, you know what, but she don't like to read, whatever.
Yeah.
No, she kept working with her. No, you're gonna read. You're gonna read. Now, this was a private Christian school teacher. So
Mm.
it was a smaller setting, smaller school. But guess what? She took the time and she didn't stop with this child.
Right.
Now, you don't have too many like that. That's why it's important to start at home. You have that same passion, you have that same zeal and fire for your own child. And don't just take, oh, I don't want to read today. I don't feel like it. I don't like reading. No, you don't take that. You don't let your child tell you what to do. No, you're going to read today. We're going to find something that you like to read and you're going to enjoy it. It's out there.
It goes back to the principle. Here's what we do in our household. Okay. We read 30 minutes a day. Okay. If it becomes something that this is who we are as the Black family, as the Smith family, as the white family, as the Jones family, if this is what we do and it becomes a standard, okay, they won't buck that standard. But now I'm not saying in the beginning they might not have some issues with it, but
Mhm.
but come on now, it's like your child saying I don't want to go to church,
Yep.
and he's 5 years old. I mean, that's on you to expose them to that. So we have to, and it goes back to, again, to planning. We have to plan on what we want our children to do. And then we got to activate that plan and reading. And let me say this again, because somebody didn't hear me. Reading is a requirement.
Yes.
Our Black boys, we need to be reading more. See, and I like this book, what would A-Tal do? Because a lot of us like to rap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whether they read it or rap it, who cares?
Right.
The idea of it is, he has to read the book to know what's in there to rap. So let's just get him to read. So I appreciate you sticking that in there like that, like undercover. Here you go, because you know they like to rap. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
But we
because my son likes to rap.
Well, a lot of our boys, they do, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with rapping. Sometimes it's the word that offend people, but the idea of it is let the child rap, change the words, encourage
Mhm.
them. We just need them reading, right? Amen.
Amen.
Well, listen, this has been like so awesome. We had the little hiccups in the beginning, but this has been so awesome. I want you to come back and be with us again, right? Because I know you're doing some amazing things, but tell us how we can be a sponsor, how we can get your book, and how we can support you so that you can continue to impact and impress upon our children the importance of reading.
Okay, thank you so much for having me on your show. And you can get my book at MeKaelBlack.com. It's MEKAEL Black or at Amazon.com. And to become a sponsor, you can go on my website and press sponsor, and it'll have all the instructions right there. And I also have my heart display on the screen for you to read why I created this sponsorship program in the first beginning. But you can go there, sponsor a book, sponsor a student, or just purchase a book, or go to Amazon and purchase the book. Both books are available on Amazon.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Any final thoughts that you want to leave our fans with this today?
My final thoughts would be just to get involved. If you have a child or a grandchild, or even if you don't have any children, reach back into the community and help a child to fall in love with reading, whether it may be giving books as gifts, whatever you have to do to help a child as early as you can to get them excited about reading. Make that extra effort because it's going to pay off not just now, but in the future as well.
You are an author after my own heart when you write about children. And the way you're doing it, we wish you the very best. We're going to always be here to support you and become a sponsor for you so that we can come as a village and
That's
make
right.
sure that our children will receive what is needed to be successful. So we need to sow into them so that they can grow and become champions in this world. Thank you so much, Ms. Mack. If you just hang out in the green room for a minute or two and we'll chat. Thank you so much. Well, ladies, thank you so much for hanging tough and being there with us. This has been super fantastic. I want you to walk away with a couple of things and then we'll be done. First of all, I want you to realize that you need to get on the right path. So remember those things that I was telling you about, okay? You need to have prayer at the house, principles. You need to participate with your children, and you need to have a plan at the house. And then you need to read at least 20 minutes a day. Now, I'm talking minimum here, 20 minutes. That's a little over 2 hours a week. You can be reading and they can see you reading and so forth and so on, okay? And the other thing is with the LATH, listen, there needs to be leadership at the house. It's on you. You decide about your principles. And then they'll later on go away with some of those same principles when they are grown. I know you're not looking that far now because they're so cutie pie, but listen, they're going to grow up and they're going to leave, okay? And you need to be learning at the house. So build that library. Go for 1,000 books. They don't cost that much. However, get the free books, whatever. Build that library and be learning so that your child would be the best version of themselves. Well, we are so excited that you join us today. And remember, anything that you want for your child, go get it. Because if you want it, you believe in it, work for it, and go get it. And don't let anything stop you. Amen. Thank you so much. And we'll see you the next time on the Amazing Happy Village.